My brother died for you. Hodor and Summer died for you. I almost died for you. Bran.
I'm not really. Not anymore.
You died in that cave.
What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. What is Bran Stark's purpose? I know we have seen him from the beginning. This book and this story starts with Bran Stark. But what truly is his purpose? And more importantly than what his purpose is, will Bran live when this is all said and done? Now, I know a lot of people have seen the transformation of Bran Stark, and they think that there's no way possible that Bran Stark can live. So let's go through Bran Stark's story a little bit and see if it makes sense that he dies at the end of all this. So we meet this second son of Ned Stark, the fourth child, right off the bat. He's a very eager little boy. He likes to climb. He likes to explore. And Bran seems to be living a happy life being raised in Winterfell. Now, Bran was named after his father's oldest brother, Brandon Stark, who was executed by the Mad King. Now, we know that Brandon Stark was known as the Wild Wolf, and this Bran does not seem to be as wild, but that Brandon Stark was known to take anything he wants. And if you look at Bran's body snatching ability, he also is taking anything he wants. And you can ask Hodor about that situation. Now, Bran is present, we know, when they find the deserter from the Night's Watch who leaves because he's seen the White Walkers. And this is no coincidence that right after this they find the dire wolves, right? So that is where we're at. King Robert then comes to Winterfell. He names Eddard Stark hand of the king, and Bran is supposed to go to King's Landing with his father. Now, during this time, Bran does spar because he's all happy about going to see the King's Guard, the Knights, with Tommen Baratheon. He puts the whoop on Tommen Baratheon, goes out on this hunting trip. Peeping as Tom Bran spies on Jaime Lannister, effing his sister, and then gets thrown from the tower, which eventually awakens his three-eyed crow ability, or basically, let's just say, his green seer ability. So what do we know so far? We know that he was named after a man who strangled himself to death trying to save his father from being burnt alive by wildfire on the orders of Mad King Aerys. We know that this man was named the Wild Wolf, and he liked to take anything he wants, especially when dealing with women. We know that Bran has the body snatching ability, and that's what I'm calling it, body snatching, because you try to come out with the skin changing to make it sound sweet. It's not sweet, it's disgusting. He's a body snatcher. Alright, so body snatching Bran associated with strangulation. Now, if you're into Bran being the valonqar, this does point towards that. Now you're going to say, how is that possible? How could that be done? Listen, I told you Bran is a body snatcher. He can body snatch anyone, and if he did that and had that person strangle Cersei, then Bran could be considered the valonqar. Valonqar, however you want to say it, I don't care. You know what I'm talking about. It's feasible to see that Bran could definitely be considered that and could get that done. Especially that he's named after a person that strangled himself to death. Now, after Bran is almost murdered by the cat's paw dagger, right, he awakens a cripple. An old Nan keeps him company. She's telling him stories of the long night. And then a lot of things else happen to get him to eventually the part that he's at right now. But that is basically the gist of what the story of Bran is. So from what we just heard, do you think that it's a good idea, it's a good story, that Bran Stark would die at this time. And I don't think so, because Bran still has a major part to play when dealing with the White Walkers and taking them out. Everything we've seen surrounding Bran has to do with the Long Night. Now, he is shown a set of visions when he looks back into the weirwood tree, and he goes back in the time after eating this Jodran paste. And I think these visions explain exactly what Bran is going to need to defeat the White Walker. Now, in order to understand these visions, you must group them in two. His young father praying with a bowed head, let them grow up as close as brothers, with only love between them, and let my lady wife find it in her heart to forgive me. A girl with a younger boy play fighting with branches. Now, this is Lyanna Stark and her brother Benjen, most likely, and Ned is talking about Jon Snow and Robb and Catelyn. A pregnant woman coming out of a black pool praying for a son to avenge her. This is supposed to represent or foreshadow the birth of Jon Snow. Again, the pregnant woman would foreshadow Lyanna Stark coming out of a black pool. The black represents Jon Snow taking the black. The pool represents her being in the pool of blood to avenge her. That would be because she dies during childbirth, and Rhaegar dies also. The next two go, a slender girl on her toes kissing a knight as tall as Hodor. A pale dark-eyed youth cutting 3 branches from the weirwood and shaping them into arrows. Now, I don't think it's important to know exactly who these people are, but you can speculate that the tall knight is Sir Duncan the Tall, and that could be Old Nan that she's kissing, and that's why Hodor has his height. What I think you're supposed to take away from this is that Bran is going to need to use Hodor as he did when he body snatched him, and at some point weirwood arrows will come into play when taking out the dragons. Now, there's 3 being made here. I think that means that all 3 dragons in the end may go down with weirwood arrows. Also, Sir Duncan the Tall sacrificed himself to save the life of Rhaegar, and we've seen Hodor sacrifice himself. Well, not really, Bran forced him to do it, but sacrificed himself to save the life of Bran. Also, going back to who Bran was named after, Brandon Stark, the Wild Wolf, who killed himself trying to save his father. Now, the last one goes, other lords of Winterfell toil hard, stern, men in fur and chainmail. A bearded man forcing a captive down on his knees. A white-haired woman killing the captive with a bronze sickle. And that is when Bran Stark can taste the blood. Now, this may have happened back in the day, but it could be a foreshadowing of things that are to come. This can easily be seen as Daenerys Targaryen making her way to Winterfell, especially if you're looking at bronze sickles. We know the Dothraki carry the sickles, white-haired woman. Does this mean that Daenerys is going to kill somebody in front of the heart tree at Winterfell when she gets there? Now, let me be clear. I understand that this is not a vision of that. I'm saying that this could foreshadow Daenerys coming to Winterfell. Now, after that, Bran sees the fake Arya marry Ramsay Bolton, and Theon thinks he sees Bran's face in the weirwood tree. Could Theon be the sacrifice that Daenerys has to do? We also see when Stannis Baratheon is holding Theon captured in the Crafters' village, Bran and Bloodraven are trying to get Theon over to the heart tree that is located in the middle of the lake. Now, his sister is telling Stannis, because she's afraid that he's going to burn him, to sacrifice him to the old gods the way Ned Stark would do it. And then that's when the birds start flapping tree and start screaming tree. So maybe Theon doesn't get executed then, but waits until Daenerys takes Winterfell, and she is the one to eventually take Theon out for all the crimes he did against the Starks. Which could be the final King's Blood sacrifice Bran's going to need to do what he has to do. Now, he could be stuck in the weirwood tree. Bloodraven could have tricked him and put him in this situation. Also, remember, old Ned told him about a story about a boy who climbed too high and fell, got struck by lightning and fell. And when he did, crows plucked out his eyes. Now, this could be exactly what happened to Bran Stark. So in the condition we see Brandon, and people find it hard to believe that Bran will survive this, and how can he survive acting like this? But let me refer you back to a story that George R.R. Martin wrote called The Ice Dragon. And during this story, a young girl is born during the long night, and it is said that she is so cold, her body is cold, her skin is cold to the touch, and she is emotionless. Now at the end of this whole story, spoilers for The Ice Dragon, when the cold leaves, the girl returns to normal, and she is able to laugh, she is able to smile, she is able to act like a normal girl again. And that could be what happens to Bran Stark. When he escapes Blood Raven, when he escapes the White Walkers, when he gets out of all this, he may just turn back to regular Bran. So you tell me in the comments, what do you think? I know I put a lot of different crazy things out there, but tell me in the comments what you think. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his head.
What?
I said no more shines. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You've been away a long time. They didn't go up there and tell you. I don't shine shoes anymore.
Relax, will you, for crying out? What's got into you? I'm breaking your balls a little bit, that's all. I'm only kidding with you.
Sometimes you don't sound like you're kidding. You know, there's a lot of people around.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a black guy like this again.
I got 2 grenades in my house. I blow up all Mulberry Street before I give you up. You understand? I don't know what I would do if there's something wrong. You understand? I die with you.